My eyes have seen, my ears have heard of your mighty deeds and powerful show of love towards me. Good, good shepherd, good, good lover, I join the angels to shout out your praise. Idima, Idima, Idukwe, Onye nemema, Imama Nesiokwe. Idima, Idima, Idukwe, Onye nemema, Imama Nesiokwe. Oyoyo Chimoma, Olisabinigwe. A melody in my heart unto you. Overflow with joy, overflow with praise. Daddy, Daddy, all that you do is marvelous. Verily, verily, you are good, Lord. Verily, 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 you are so good. Verily, verily. I join the angels to shout loud your praise. Idima, Idima, Idukwe, Onye nemema, Imama Nesiokwe. Idima, Idima, Idukwe, Onye nemema, Imama Nesiokwe. My Jesus, lover of my soul, you are the reason I live. You are my everything. Adonai, you're the only song I sing. Let your glory cover all the earth. I love the way I'm talking to you, and you listen to me. Whenever I pray, you the answer, oh, you never let me down.
Adonai, you're the only song I sing. Let your glory cover all the earth. I love the way I'm talking to you, and you listen to me. Whenever I pray, you the answer, oh, you never let me down.
See the way you love me, see the way you care for me. You carry my matter, you carry my matter, you carry my matter for your head, oh. You carry my matter, you carry my matter. Ihide me ovina song. Ayo yo yo, ayo yo yo. Akaburu fero nandine soya no simiruye. Oni si bigati, oni si wonga wonye masiriki gineme. Ayo. Si wonga wonye masiriki gineme. Otu siri masi Chineke, otu siri masi Chineke. Imama ya, imama ya, imama ya, Jebuwe. Oh no no. Imama ya, imama ya, imama ya. Otu siri masi.
Hello guys, hi everyone. Join in. Put some music here. Let's know where you're watching from.
You surround me with a melody. You surround me with a song.
deliverance from my enemies. To all my fears are gone. I'm no longer a slave to fear. Please share. I am the child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am the child of God. Good evening, everybody. Good afternoon. Good morning, wherever you're watching from. It's a pleasure to have you joining us today for this live show. And as soon as you join, what you have to do for us is to click the share button, and then we are good to go. And also comment. Don't forget. A slave to fear. I am the joy of God. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining. Let me see who is watching. Okay, so let's know where you're watching from. Beautiful music. Thank you so much, Erica. Thank you for joining, of course. Anticipating. Olivia, thank you for joining. Who is home? Welcome, Valerie. Valeria, yeah. Watching from Cameroon. Where precisely in Cameroon? Francisca. Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Gisbert, for joining. Linda, good evening. Watching from Cameroon. Thank you for joining. Bobe Tassa Victor. Honorine, thank you for joining. Tio, we have Cindy, who is watching from Yaoundé. Going Vicky, say, God carry my matter for her. Thank you for the music. Yeah, you're welcome. And thanks for joining. We have Maureen. Maureen's watching from Cameroon. And then we have Tal watching, Solange, Pavin, watching from Loom, Civilian. Thanks for joining us from Loom. Okay, then Boris, already saw you. Of course, guys, keep on sharing this live visual before we start, because we're really having some pertinent information that we would like to share out. And of course, I would love to have a lot of people join in as much as possible before I share this information. Honorine is watching from Douala, Cameroon. Good evening, Fuller, Karin. Nathaniel watching from Bamenda. Lenita Fumbom, where are you watching from? And then we have Cynthia is watching from Limbe. And so we're having people who are joining from all the parts in Cameroon. Let me know if everything is okay. Looks like the network is not really, I don't know. Mm. Let me connect my network again, guys. I usually have to plug in directly to my Wi-Fi, so I don't know what I did today. Oh. Huh? Yes, please keep sharing, share the live video. I want to make sure that everything is working good for us. All right, there you go. I don't want any scratch. Nothing to disturb. Drop a comment where you're watching from. Let's know where you're watching from. Let's see where you're watching from. Go like to the part. All right, so let me continue with my people greeting those I have to greet, and then we go ahead with the live video. Team Priscilla joining from Bamenda. Good evening, Gangster. Thanks for joining. We have Nadine Boneris watching from Yaoundé. Right, so we have Luis. If I don't even read your name, I will come back to that. We have Esther Chima watching from Cameroon. Clarice watching from Bambili. Thank you for joining, Clarice. And then we have Clement watching from Ghana. Good to know that we also have our Ghanaian brothers who are watching. And then we have all right, so I'm going to start with the live show all the way, and let me just know if you have the everything is okay. All right, so good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining the live show today. We are here to talk about DV Lottery 2024, which is officially supposed to be starting tomorrow, Eastern Daylight Time, and then closing on November 8th. So this is going to be like a 1 month program. So we are going to be talking about a lot here today, and I will also be very happy to answer your questions. But before I go to your questions, because I have had a lot of people who have had to contact me inbox with questions which I could not answer because it is very difficult to keep on answering the same question every moment, and then people still come up with those questions. So it's always very difficult to get all the questions answered. So I had to jot down some of those questions here, which I'll answer them. And then, after talking about these questions, we can then go ahead, take your questions, and we talk about how we are going to handle the DV Lottery 2024 program. Now, a lot of people are asking sometimes when they launch the lottery, you are in 2022, and then they call it DV Lottery 2024. You are like, why is it 2024? It is 2024 because that is the period that you are allowed to enter the United States if you win. Normally, the program will be launched tomorrow. It's starting officially tomorrow, and then people will start submitting their entries to November 6th. No, sorry, November 8th. And then the US government will do the selection in March next year, which is 2023. So when you look critically, it's about a period of 5 months that the selection is going to be done. Now you have to do your processing within this within from the after the 5 months when it is launched. When the results are out, you will only get to know your results in June 2020, in May 2023. They're usually coming out by the 5th of May. I think this next year should be on the 7th of May. That is the day that the US government Department of State is going to officially release the results. And then you can start the processing of your documents to officially travel in 2021. Now, some people are asking, first of all, we are starting with the first question because when you go through the DV lottery program, there is what they call the permanent resident card, which is the card that the government is supposed to give you when you walk into the United States through the lottery program. When we were growing up in those days, people we used to hear that when you win the lottery, you come to the United States, the government will do this and that, do blah blah blah, like a lot of things that people used to talk about. And those are some of the questions that you may also want to ask today during this live video. But the first question that I'm answering about green card or permanent resident card is actually the card that they are going to give you when you win the lottery and you enter into the United States. Now, this card permits you to be able to travel in and out of the United States freely You have the benefits from the government like health, food program, and everything, assistance, financial assistance that the government can be able to assist you when you are under the green card. When you have the green card, you enter the United States and you are not making up to a specific income, because normally when you make up to a certain salary, the government does not support you in any way when it comes to finances and other stuff. But when you get the green card and you come in, that is a program that you officially be under. And with this program, you are supposed to uh, be entering and going out of the United States at will. Now, let me make you to understand that it's not everybody that is in the United States that has the green card. No, the fact that you are in the United States does not mean that you have green card. So there are people, when we were talking about the DV lottery program today, you will also learn that there are people who also play DV lottery. Being in America does not mean that you have it all. Being in America does not mean that you have the documents. So when you actually come here through the program, that is good enough for you because you have the green card. Now, people are here in the US and they are still playing the DV lottery. So as we talk, people play DV lottery even in the United States. So you don't just feel that maybe because somebody has entered the US, the person already has the green card. No, green card is a special card that you have, and that card allows you to travel in and out of the United States at any time of your choice. You are permanent. It shows that you are a permanent resident of the United States and you can be able to have all those benefits. So you don't need a visa to come here. You don't need a visa to go out. That is the card that you are going to be have. Now, another question is about what is the green card lottery program? They call it DV lottery, which means diversity. Diversity means that it is something, when they say something is diversified, it means that it is something that they are trying to bring in a lot of people from different backgrounds. The United States of America finally came up with this diversity program because they wanted to have people come to the US from all the parts of the world. The United States is one of the countries in the world that wants to have people from all the backgrounds, all the countries. Like if you come here, you'll see people from all the 6 continents in the world. We have 7 continents in the world, and the seventh continent, which is the Antarctica, is a continent where no one lives. So all the other 6 continents that people live, we have people from those continents represented here in the United States of America. And that was the essence of the DV program. The DV lottery program was instituted to be able to bring in a lot of people to this country from all over the world who can be able to participate and partake in the country's activities. That is why it is called the DV lottery. Now, as we are talking further today, another question we will need to know is that not everybody is supposed to play this DV lottery. Who is allowed to partake? Not everybody is allowed to partake. Now, who is allowed to partake? The first thing is that there are a lot of countries that are listed out. For example, if you are watching this live show from Nigeria, it is unfortunate that Nigerians cannot be able to participate. But when I'll be going into the live video, I will give you some of the instances where, as a Nigeria, you can play the DV lottery, because normally Nigeria as a country does not qualify to play the DV lottery. There are a lot of countries too, like UK and several countries across the world, that do not qualify to play the DV lottery. But if you have someone from that country and you like to play this lottery, I'm here today to help you, tell you the only method you can use to play lottery. Like for example, you are from Nigeria and you have learned that people from Nigeria cannot participate in the lottery, but I can help you and let you know how from Nigeria you can play the lottery as a Nigerian. But know that other countries do not qualify. Unfortunately, if you are from Cameroon, Cameroon is one of the countries that qualifies to play the DV lottery. So this something that you should know, and how you can be able to play. And then this is what we will be talking about. So then I will come to talk further about that. Then the third question, a lot of people are asking, they are like, what can I do? Can I do anything to increase my chances, like to win this lottery? Can I do anything to increase my chances? Like people say, I've been playing for several years, I've played for 10 years, I've played for 5 years, I've played for 3 years. It's like, this is not for me. I keep on playing, but I never win. Like, is there anything that I can do to increase my chances? Yes, there is something that you can do, and then no. There is nothing that you can do. So there are two things. When I say yes and no, this is because it is a philosophical question and it's going to be very logical. One thing that you should know is how the selection process is being done. People say that it is luck, it is game, it is chance that when you play, it is being done by the machine. DV lottery is being the selection is being done by the computer at the Kentucky Consular Services here in the United States. And I was talking to one of the persons from the Department of State the other day to try, because I knew that I was going to have this program, and I really wanted to be sure that I'm having a very ample information for you guys, so that you should know what you can be able to do and what you cannot be able to do. So I was trying to talk with someone to get more information, and I really wished he could make it to this program, but unfortunately he couldn't because of his tight schedule and my schedule. We don't Our schedules don't work, so he could not come. Now, the first thing that I will talk about is how the selection process is being done. The computer rejects applications, like automatically rejects application. This is because the computer has been trained to behave, to act like a human being, and the computer has a lot of things that they are looking for. And when these things don't meet the requirement, the computer immediately rejects. First, if you make a mistake in your application, it is rejected. Like who plays your DV lottery matters a lot. That is why, if you look critically, you will see that there are some places where the people play there, and always more win. People who win always come from that particular part. This is because the people have mastered their games. They know exactly what the computer is looking for and what they can be able to do to increase your chances of being selected for this program. Now, for example, if they say that they are not selecting people from Ghana or from Nigeria, the computer already knows that they are not going to select people from Nigeria. If you play from Nigeria and your country of, because when I will go into this live video, I will be talking about country of birth, country of citizenship, and country of eligibility. I will talk about these different countries, and this is what the computer is looking at, because the computer is looking at your country of birth. The computer is looking at your country of eligibility, and it's talking about your country of citizenship. These are three different things. When they talk about country, there are three different countries. And now, if you finally play and you choose your country of eligibility as Nigeria, and you are a Nigerian, the computer automatically rejects your application. Then you will not win the DV lottery. Now, if you don't win, you will say that no, it was just something like Paris Foot or TSA. They were just picking. People is like a human being picking. That is not how it's done. It's not like someone go in and say that they just turn it. Some people used to say that sometimes they just throw the application and then they turn them and pick any name that they want to pick. That is not how it's been done. It is being done based on the information that you put in your application. Like, first of all, we know that yes, it's generally, it might be locked, but you have to understand that a lot of people are being from the beginning, a lot of people fail to make it to the finishing line because they had a lot of errors in the application. First, the person who played for you mattered a lot, so make sure that you are choosing the right person to submit your entry when it comes to playing this program. So now let's talk about uh, the picture. Picture is the very first thing that you should consider. That is the thing. Like I told a lot of people who contacted me and they were asking questions. I said that yeah, I can talk to you. I can be able to give you what you need, but know that if you attend this live show today, that is where you can have most of the information that you really desire, because I cannot be able to explain everything to you. Your picture is very important. The first thing that the computer is looking at is the picture. If you like, you have your luck. Like if you like, you are Jesus' younger brother, and then you feel that it is, since they're just selecting everything randomly, you can do everything, and then you win the lottery. If you like play for your entire life, you will never win. That is the truth. You have to be very sure that your picture is meeting the requirements. And to take your picture, it doesn't mean that you should go and dress I mean, like, dress luxuriously to get a picture for the DV lottery. It doesn't mean that you should go and paint your face and put in the most expensive wig to take a picture for your lottery. No, take a normal picture with your normal daily wear, like normal dress that you wear on a daily basis. Just take a picture and make sure that the picture meets the requirement. Now, for the people that I will be helping them to submit their applications, I'm going to reshape your pictures, because I know that mostly some of the pictures when people send, they don't usually meet the requirements. But there is a website where we put your picture there and we reshape it according to the requirements that the State Department wants. Because the US immigration have a particular type of a passport size that they want. Yeah, in Cameroon they do that. People do that as well. Like when you go to take a picture and you tell them that I'm doing a picture for the US embassy, they already know the kind of requirements for a US picture. And these are the kind of pictures that you will be submitting for the DV lottery. Secondly, the picture is usually always a problem for a lot of people. Like we have people who will not have the money, they don't have that finances to be able to go and get a good picture, but you don't have to worry about that. You can use your phone. Just need to use your phone, get a good background, like a white background, and then take a clear picture, and then we can reshape the picture. That is it. If I'm the one playing for you, or if the person who is playing for you, helping you to submit your application, knows about that, that is what they will do. It's about the picture. Ask them, use your phone, just take a clean picture with your phone on a white background, and then send over, and then we reshape it to the size that you want. You don't need to pay money to play these things. I will also be dropping a link on how you can be able to play. We have the link which will officially go live tomorrow. I think it's going live at 12 noon Eastern Daylight Time, and then it will be stopping at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time on November 8th. And so you just have to know that it's about 6 p.m. in Cameroon time. If it is Eastern Standard Time, that will be 5 p.m. your time in Cameroon, when it's going to officially go live tomorrow. And then it's stopping on November 8th, 2020 to 2022, which is also going to be about 5 p.m. your time in Cameroon. So make sure that you take your time. You don't need to hurry about doing this. The second thing that you need to know, which is so special about this year's DV lottery, is that if you look on my screen, you will see that they are taking 55,000. The US government is going to be granting green cards to 55,000 people, foreigners. And this 55,000 means that there is an upscale of 5,000 people. Now, you might be among these 5,000 people. Maybe just the fact that you were not able to win last year doesn't mean that you might not win. So you might still be that you submit, and then you get your chance of winning it. So this is something that you should never give up fighting for. Now, so I talk about the countries of eligibility, and then let me talk about another point here that can make you to be able to increase your chances of winning. Now, they say that you cannot submit the your entry twice, but as a married couple, if you are playing as a married couple, you can increase your chances by submitting your entry twice. This is what you will do. Your wife will play, and then submit, include you in the application, and then submit, and then you will play, include your wife in the application and submit. Now you have submitted two entries, and this means that you stand the chance of winning. This is legal in the United States. It is very legal when it comes to playing the DV lottery. A lot of people did not know about this, but this is what you can do to increase your chances. If you are married and then you are playing the lottery, make sure that you submit twice. You are not using any money to do this, of course. Submit for your wife will submit for you, and then you will submit for your wife. So two of you are submitting. When you submit your application, always make an effort. If you have dependent children in this case by law are children who are below 21 years of age and who are not married. Now, these children, you include them in the application. It means that they can be able to travel with you to the United States when you finally win the lottery. But it doesn't mean that it is by force that they should travel with you. If you don't have money to travel with them, you can come and they come over. But always make sure that you submit, because I've had a case of someone who submitted an application for lottery, did not include the children. And when the person won and it was time to travel, the person came in and then included the children when he was filling the application for green card, and it was rejected. They did not only reject the children, or reject the fact that he was filing for the children at this time. They rejected because they said that he misrepresented information. The us government has what they call misrepresentation of information. So if you misrepresent your information from the beginning, just one error that you make, that error will haunt you throughout your entire application. Now, again, when you realize now they are taking 55,000, like last year they were taking 50,000 people, and what they usually do is that the government takes twice. If they say that they are taking 55,000 people this year, the government will take 110 people. The reason why they are taking 110 people is because a lot of people will be rejected in the processing. A lot of people will fall out, a lot of people will be rejected. So the fact that you have that winning notification online to show that you have won the lottery does not mean that you are traveling to United States. When you win it, that's when they actually go back to your records to see what you did wrong and what you never did right. And when they find out these things, they reject, they begin to cut out people. It is a must that the government is going to get 55,000 people to travel to the States. And if they finally take only 55,000 people during the first phase, what will happen is these 55,000, there will be a lot of people that will be dropped. And then you will finally see that maybe only 25,000 people or 30,000 people will make it. This is the reason why they have to make sure that they are taking the total number of people that they are selecting to come for this program. They should be at least more twice the number that the government wants to take. So the number that they want to take this year is 55,000. So they will be taking 110,000 people. And when they take this 110,000 people, the government will continuously, as they are doing the processing, they will keep on streaming it down until it reaches the 55,000. And immediately the 55,000, it reaches the 55,000, they will travel. So that is when you will see that a lot of people win the lottery and they're not able to travel. So I am here to make you to prevent that mistake. This is a lifetime opportunity for you who is following your American dream to win and travel. So winning and not traveling is so painful. So I want you to win and I want you to travel. I don't just want you to win, but I want you to win and to be able to travel to the United States. That is why we said that we are going to follow up everyone, people that we are playing, we're helping them to submit their application. We will help follow up to make sure that you even travel and you settle. And this is why we want to make sure that everything is perfect from the beginning. We don't want errors. No one is God. We will always make mistakes. But if you follow this information and do it step by step, you are not going to have any errors when you are submitting your application. Now, another thing that you need to know, like I talked about, country of citizenship, country of eligibility, and country of birth. You are submitting this application based on your country of birth, not country of citizenship, and not country of not your country of citizenship. So this is what you have to know. Like for example, I might be, if I'm in America and I am a Cameroonian by birth, I might be an American by citizenship. Like if you leave Cameroon and you go to Nigeria, you become a Nigerian, you will never change the fact that you were born in Cameroon. If you leave Nigeria, for instance, let me say, for instance, since Nigerians do not qualify to play the lottery. Please, I'm seeing people having questions. I don't know, I might not be able to see the questions all right now, but I know that you are sending your questions. I plead on you to, I will do some basic explanations, and then I'm taking all the questions that you have. So I just want to take explanation. So if I don't see your question, feel free to resend the question again when I start handling question, because if you post, a lot of comments are coming in, so comments go up and I might not see them. So if I'm answering questions and you feel that I did not answer your question, you can copy the question and then repost again so that I should see it. Thank you. So now this is specifically like for people, like to people from Nigeria who do not qualify to play the lottery. If you leave Nigeria and you come to Cameroon and you become a Cameroonian by citizens, like you get citizenship in Cameroon, then you are still not eligible. So you are playing as from your country of birth, not country of nationality or country of citizenship. Because the fact that you become a citizen in that country and the country is eligible to play DV lottery does not mean that you were born in that country. So if you are in Cameroon and you were not born in Cameroon, so and you were born in a country that does not qualify, you will not have to play. So yes, Muslims qualify to play as far you are Cameroonian. Yes, if you are Cameroonian, that's okay, or you are from a country that plays, that is fine. So there is no, the US does not have any problem with any person, Muslims or whatever. I just said let me answer that question because it was so brief and came up so closely to me, into my face. So now you are, now if you are from a country, for those who are from countries that do not qualify, listen to this, is very important to you. You can be able to play the lottery and enter America if you get married to someone from a country that qualifies. Like if you are from Nigeria and you are married to someone from Cameroon, you can play based on marriage. If you are from a country that does not qualify and so you have a spouse from any country that qualifies, you can play lottery based on marriage. But the fact is that you should be able to know that you must enter the United States with your spouse, with the person you played with, because your country does not qualify. You will not be allowed to enter except you are coming in with your spouse. Okay, now the next question is, how are the visas being distributed? These visas are being distributed depending on countries. And now these countries that have been chosen are countries with a low history of immigration to the United States. And the visas are being distributed based on how many people you have in the United States. Like, let me take, for example, of Cameroon. Like, how many people are they going to take from Cameroon? Now we have 55,000 people coming in to the United States, and these 55,000 people are supposed to be selected from all the countries in the world, including those in America, because people in America still play this lottery, and this 55,000 will be including people from America as well. And America, you have, that is United States of America, which includes North and South. We will have Europe, we have Australia, we have the Asia, we have I mean, apart from the Antarctica, which is the country with no people, every country is represented in this lottery. Now, if you are from Cameroon and then you want to play this lottery and you want to know how many people are coming in, you have to know that the government will distribute based on the percentage of Cameroonians that in the United States. So the country with so many people in the United States will have a low number, and the country with few people, like if you look, for example, countries like Somalia, with a lot of them here, for instance, you will see that sometimes they might have to get them, like, trim down the number. So if they don't have so many people from a particular country, they increase their percentage. But however, there is no country that takes more than 7% of this number. No matter how low your immigration history is in the United States, no country will take more than 7% of the 55,000 people that are coming into the state. So the 55,000 will be highest. Now, then they say, another one is, does my family have to, that this question, I've answered this one, so I'm not going to answer this one. Will I be informed? Now, some people ask, will I be informed that I was selected if I win? You are not informed. When you win lottery, no one informs you. You have to go online from May 7th next year, because this year will actually be, the results will be coming out on May 7th. And when you go online, you will look for your results yourself, use on the Department of State website. So there will be a link for that they will send out for you to check your entrance status, which is ENTRANT. You will go in and check your status to see if you have the winning notification attached to your name. I know that a lot of scammers will come up and sometimes they will send you emails when the results will be out and letting you know that you have won the lottery, so that you can be able to travel. No, if you receive any email, it is fake. And then if someone plays for you, please get your they call it what? Get your confirmation. It has a confirmation number. I think it's about 13 digits. Get everything and keep it with you, because a lot of people will play for you, and when the results will be out, they will want to get money from you. Like when you win, they want you to give money to them before you travel. You don't have to pay money to anybody. That is the reason why you are taking all precautions to get your receipt with you when someone submits your entry. So get that with you. And then I have about last two questions here that I will answer, and then I will go straight to taking your questions. I still have a lot of questions at the comment section. Of I still have so many questions, but I will not. Yeah, I will not take all of them. There are a lot of people questions that came in. Oh, Anyway, I've already answered all these questions that I have here. I'm not I'm not going to take most of those questions. I answered them ahead of time. So let me go back now to your main questions at the comment section. I will be seeing. Please, you can start posting your questions now. I will not be able to go right back to all the questions, but I'll start from somewhere and then you can start posting your questions and I will take them. I'll take them one after the other. Okay, so this is question is from Neris. Neris say, I have my passport. Can I play alone and my parents play too as a couple twice? Yeah, so Neris, this is what happened. There is no, you have to know that for you to play, there are some requirements. I did not talk about the requirements, but I see a question that I will go to that I will talk about the requirements. If you submit, your parents have the right to submit. There is no problem. Your parents can play and include you, and you see play on your own without your parents. That is fine. So, but there is a place that you also indicate that you have parents and you put the names of your parents. But all you should know is that it doesn't matter. So you can play and your parents will still play. Okay, now Matthew asks, do I need any certificate to play? Yes, you need a certificate. You need at least you need to have at least from Cameroon. You need to have at least advanced level, which is what we call the in here is so it is the higher we call it high school diploma. Let me just put it this way. So you need to have advanced level, or if you don't have it, there are some occupations that you need to have, some professions that you need to have, and you must have worked with certain corporations, so you must have done certain types of jobs that you can be allowed to enter, because you see play even without the advanced level. You don't need certificate to apply anything like, but you need to them to travel. Let me break it down this way, because by the time that you are playing, they will not ask you for any documents, but when you will be traveling, when you are applying for your green card, this is when all these things will come in. So they will need you to must have had a certain qualification, a certain level of education, or you must have had a certain certificates or certain profession occupation to show that you can be able to enter the United States and be resourceful. I hope I answered that question. So when you are selected, will they provide you with accommodation? No, nobody provides you with accommodation here. You actually come into the United States, you get your own accommodation. So nobody gives you accommodation. I know that sometimes when we are growing up, people used to say that when you win the lottery and come here, I don't know, by that time maybe they were giving houses, but now you're actually supposed to come in and get your accommodation. However, there is nobody who will ever win lottery and don't have a place to stay. So the first concern should be about trying to win, because when you win and come, you are coming to the United States, you will not lack a place to stay. But know that the government does not provide accommodation. However, we have a lot of resources here. If you come into the United States and you don't have a place to stay and you need resources, I can be able to help you with resources. I have resources, I have organizations that can assist you with the startup, how to be able to start up, how to stay here, and how to get a job. So they will actually have organizations that can help direct you until you get a job. They will help you find a job, help you find a place to stay, and do everything for you. But know that this is not the responsibility of the government. It is nobody's responsibility. This is just a help from organizations, charity organizations that are trying to assist you. What is needed exactly to play the lottery? Nothing is needed to play the lottery. All you need to know is that you have to be from a country that is eligible, and then you also have to know that you have the qualification when it is time to travel, because when you play it, by the time you are traveling, they will need you to have this qualification. Now they say, what if you play when you guys are not yet married but planning to get married? Now it is that is different. So if you play, if you are still planning to get married and then you play, there is nothing that shows that you guys were married. But after you must have played and you win the lottery, your spouse will enter the United States before they will apply for you. So you cannot travel at the same time, because the only condition is that you must have been married to the person. But if you are not married to the person and you guys play together, you play as a fiance or a fiance, which will not give you access to enter with the person at the same time. But if your spouse enters the United States, they can apply for you and you follow them after they have come in. All right. See more questions. Now, is it true that there are higher chances to win with when someone plays for you back there in the state? Well, this is not something. These are things that people talk about, but I don't have good information to give you as far as that one is concerned. Yeah, that one I will not be able to give you much information as that question is concerned, because that is a myth, but we don't have anything to prove about that. I cannot give you things that are not proven. A lot of people have been talking about that, but we have tried to get that. I tried to ask this question, this same question, from my source, in the Department of State, but he did not give me a credible answer. So I cannot also answer you. I'm so sorry. Mm, they say, okay, blessings. Everything is well articulated. Thank you. Is there any specific certificate to play? Okay, so I already answered this question, right? Let me go straight to the questions that I've not answered. Can I play with my kids? Absolutely. That is the best. These are some of the things that you should just go ahead and do them. If you have your kids that you are playing, never even leave them out. I don't even like it when people do such mistakes, because those are mistakes that are very costly mistakes, not to play with your kids. So if you have your kids, play with them, play with your family, include them. Like I said, uh, it doesn't mean that when you play with them, you guys must travel at the same time. You can play with your kids, and then you will be able to travel alone. And then when your kids are ready, they will travel. Or even playing with your spouse, and when your spouse is ready, they will travel. So you must not travel with them at the same time. And many of us might have fallen for this. Thank you. Okay, yeah, that is true, Larissa. A lot of people have fallen for getting wrong places to play their lottery. Don't just go anywhere and play. And guys, these are things that you can actually do them on your own, instead of getting someone who is not reliable to play for you. You can do that on your own. I will send you a link on some descriptions. I might even make a video on, just a small video, and post, so that I can direct you on how you can be able to do it on your own. Because I really like to help a lot of people, but with my work schedule, and with the people that my team that is helping me to be able to submit the entries together, I know that we might not be able to have all that time to submit for everyone. That is why we are selecting just a couple of people. We talked about 70, but we are anticipating to get more than 70 people that we can assist them to submit, and also to help you follow up, yeah, everything when it is time to travel. If God blesses and you win it this year, so, but know that it is not very easy to help everyone. Sometimes we like to, but it's not easy. I wish I could just help all of you, but it is not very easy. Must you be legally married before playing as a couple? Like, if you haven't done court married yet, can you play with marriage certificate? Well, can you play with marriage certificate? Okay, let me just answer your question from the way I understood it. So now I will just give a general explanation, so that you could take your answer from it. There is nothing like marriage that is being recognized. The US does not recognize any form of marriage without a marriage certificate. That is, they don't recognize it. For you to have a recognized marriage, to say that you are married, you must have a marriage certificate. So anything that you play with someone without a marriage certificate, it shows that you did not play as couples. So when you finally win and you're about to travel, this might affect you somehow. But you know there are things that you can play, and with time, you people are working on your documents, and doing things. People have the ways of doing their things, and people know the way they usually do their things, but I'm trying as much as possible to advise you to do everything legal, because I know that people do play a lot of games, at the you know and that yeah, and then that is not what I'm advising you to do. I'm making you to do what you could be able to do with a lot of confidence, and to avoid trouble with the government when it comes to traveling. Okay, I already answered this question. Another question is, so if you are a single mom, we will mention in your document. Yes, of course. No, you will not. There's no place where they ask you whether you're a single mom or not. No, they ask for your marital status. They just need to know whether you are single or married. Now, talking about children, people do play. We have four different types of children. When you are playing your lottery, you have four different types of children. Normally, by law, there are four different types of children. We have a natural child, we have a legitimate child, we have a legitimated child, and we have an adopted child. Now, if you want to play lottery and you have any of these children, you can play with them. So you can play with a legitimate child, a legitimated child, an adopted child, or a natural child. Now, you may want to ask me the definition of these four types of children. These are opportunities that some people, you like to travel with someone, the person is not biologically your child, and you are like, no, I cannot play lottery with this person because it's not my child. What am I going to do? You can play with the person as a natural child. A natural child is normally a child who was born out of wedlock, and the child is not living, the child is only living with one of the parents. So if you have a child and the child was born out of wedlock and the child is living only with one of the parents, they call the child a natural child. Like you are a father, you can play with the child. You are a mom, you can play with the child. That child is a natural child because the child has only one parent. A legitimated child, normally in this case, would be a child that was born out of wedlock but was legitimated by a civil statutes act. Like you got married to your wife when the person already had the child, or you got married to your husband while your husband already had a child. Now you decide to bring in this child. It means that you are legitimating this child. So they call this child in law a legitimated child, which means that the child is being recognized by a civil status registry act. So you can play with this child even if the child is not your biological child. So you play with a legitimated child. Now, a legitimate child in this case is a child that was born inside marriage. We all know about this child was born inside marriage by with marriage that was recognized by a civil status registrar. So that one is a legitimate child. I know that that is a child that most of us we all know and we feel that that is the only child that you can play with. That's a child we call a legitimate child. Adopted child in this case is a child. Now, this is a mistake that people make. You don't adopt your relative. You can never adopt somebody that is related to you by blood. You don't do that. If you want to adopt a child, because a child that is already related to you, you don't adopt that child. Because if you adopt and they want to, you ask you and you say that no, this was my brother's child, and I adopted a child. So you get my talk the one for pigeon, maybe yeah. If you get pikin, because the one the kind thing is are not supposed for the talk and for English. If you adopt pikin way, the pikin are your relative, the pikin relate to you in any way, you adopt that pikin. No ever stand for some place talk say no, the pikin na my brother pikin or na my sister pikin. If they ask you, talk say you no get no relationship with that pikin, because if you talk say you the pikin where you adopt and so na your relative for some way, then they go cancel that adoption. They no go leave am. May you travel with that pikin. So keep that one for your head. If you want adopt pikin, this particular word adoption, you the adopt na person where the person no be related to you in any way, in any way. So that is what they call adoption. So you don't adopt someone that is related to you. We have a mixed information about the kind of passport photo to use. Please just highlight so as to the kind of photo to use. Yes, Edwin, this like I talked about this passport photo at the beginning of this live video. I think this is the highest requirement that you should know. The passport photo that you need. If sometimes you can even go to Google and you just type DV lottery passport photo requirements, they would send you. I'm still going to post this again sometime for clarification. Your passport needs to meet the standards of the US passport, and the people who are taking this passport know it. Now, if they don't know it, the person who is playing your DV lottery should know it, because they are going to reshape it. You can even take it, however, you just take a normal passport using your phone. And the thing is that try as much as possible to not be looking so fancy in your passport and not overdressing, and then not making wearing a lot of makeup for women, not wearing so much jewelry, or just make a simple passport photo on a white background and then send it over. I can reshape it for you, but like I said, I'm not able to do it for everybody because with my schedule, so it's not easy. But the person who is playing for you, they should know. A lot of people who play it, they know what they are doing, but it's just that there are a lot of people out there as well who do not know it, and you tend to have a lot of problem when you play with them. Okay, I already answered this question, right? Okay. Please, if I answer your question, don't post it again so that it should not confuse me. Can two children from one family play the lottery? Of course, even if you are 50 of you from one family, you can play. You have your identity. Is there any age limit? Sir? Okay, Zit Honorine, there is no age limit. And technically, there is an age limit, but there is no age limit. Now, you can be able to play at any age, but since there is a education requirement, which means that you must have attended six, they call it 12 years of education. That's what they call it. 12 years of education in the US is 13 years of education in Cameroon, because in the US you have grade 1 to grade 6, which is just like primary 1 to primary 6 in Cameroon, and then you have grade 7 to grade 12, which is like from 1 to upper 6 in Cameroon. So you see that when you go through education in the US, instead of making 7 years in the secondary school like we do in Cameroon, you make 6 years, which is 12 years of education. Formerly in Cameroon, we used to have 14 years. Somebody like me, I did 14 years in school, because by that time, by the time I left school, primary school, we used to stay for 7 years in primary school until they later changed it to 6 years, which means that we used to have 14 years of education, equivalent to 12 years of education in the US. But right now, the US has what they call 12 years of education requirements, which means that you must have gone through school and you have reached the upper six, where you have the advanced level. Now, you have to also know that when they are talking about advanced level, it doesn't mean that if you have the advanced level, like you attend your school, you have the advanced level just in 2 years instead of the normal 5 years or the normal 7 years, it is not recognized. Get this well. A lot of people will not know this. Get this well straight. 12 years requirement is a must. If you have your advanced level in less than 12 years, you are not qualified. So someone who has the advanced level who spent more than 12 years in school and have the advanced level, you are okay. But if you spend less than 12 years in school and you have your advanced level, you are not qualified. Now, people will ask the question, how would they know that I spent less than 12 years in school? They will know it depending on your age and when you started school. So that is why the age requirement is very important. They tell you that there is no age limit, but if you come in, for example, you are playing at the age of 15 years, they will ask you, did you go to school when you were like 3 years? For them, they don't recognize that here, because there's an age limit where you start class 1, so they will look at those things. These are cases where they reject you. So if you play at that age, and then they will reject your application. So that is why 18 years is typically the age limit, but they don't mention anywhere in the application that there is an age limit. But you know that 18 years is typically the age limit, because it attests to the fact that you have spent more than 12 years in school. So that is already clear. So if you play and you have 15 years, they will look at it and they disqualify you. In the US here, before a child could go to school, you have to be 6 years before you start school. And now, so which means that by the time you play this lottery, you need to be 18 years. Yeah. You need to be 18 years, because you start you cannot start school here when you are less than 6 years. No. If you are less than 6 years, you can either go to daycare or you do preschool, but you have to go to kindergarten, what they call kindergarten, which is the same as class 1, K1. You have to be at least 6 years to start the school. And by the time you go through your 12 years program, you must have been 18 years of age. So the age requirement will come in here. All right. So let's see. Does it need any certificate? I answered this question about certificate. You can rewind my video and you get it. Can a single mother and a child play? Yes, a single mother and a child can play. That is okay. You can play with your child. It is legal to play with your child, and you win. Please, sir, can I play with my son and hope a single mom can play? I already talked about that question. Does certificate matter in playing? Yeah, we talked about a high school diploma. We talked about that one. You need to have a high school diploma, which is the same as advanced level in Cameroon, and you must have attended 12 years of education. So, but this is not when you are playing. Of course, you play, but when you are traveling, that is when you will see the importance of these things. Because when you want to play, and nobody will ask for it. Age limit, I talked about that one. So will I be provided a home? I talked about that one. I also answer. I'm not answering a question twice because a lot of questions I need to go through. Can you please help me to play? It depends. Now it depends on which you will be selected, because I'm helping 70 people or more. I don't know who is I'm going to help. So, sir, please, what if you are legally married and you are separated and not divorced? Can you still play? Yes. If you are married, if you now now if you are separated, you have not divorced, so you are still married until the day you get divorced. You are his wife and he is your husband. So they only recognize that you are not married or that you have divorced if you have a certificate to prove that you have divorced. So you are permitted to play as separation is not divorce. That's anyway, by the way, you have to know that. if you play in the US as compared to playing Cameroon. I already talked about that. Would like I would like you to play that question again. I'm not going there. Thank goodness. Okay, let me just go straight. What if you don't have any certificate? If you don't have no, so I talked about certificates here, and I also talked about some kind of professions. I cannot be able to list them here, but the US recognize people who have worked in some with some professions and some companies that you can be able to play even without the education requirements. There are two things that they look at: education requirement and professional requirements. So if you meet the professions that they want, they will allow you to play. Mhm. Yeah, someone with an HND, of course, with an HND, you must have had your high school diploma, which is advanced level. So, I mean, with HND, you can play. That is normal. You have already done more than 6 years of 6 years of education. That is advisable. Yeah, that one has been answered. Ita, you say I'm not married, but I have a child. So that question has been answered. And then, please, can someone play for her kids and husband to be or fiance? You can play with your kids, you can play with your husband, but husband to be, you are not yet married to him. So that's something that you should know. You are not playing as a husband, you are playing as a, with him as a fiance, which is something that is actually different. So you have to know that one. Mm. Then question: What if you are interested and your spouse? What if you're interested and your spouse not? How do you do it? I'm married. I want to play with my sibling. Yeah, I've had cases of people who are married and their spouses do not want to play. However, it's not everybody that would like to travel. They have their own reasons, but you know that if your spouse do not want to play, your spouse do not want to travel to the United States, it's all left to them. But you can still be able to go ahead and play with your kids. You can go ahead and play with your whosoever you want to play, but not with your spouse if he does not want to play. So you have to get that one. That should be understood. Okay, so I say I wish to ask, what if you have O level and then you play in the course of its process? No, I mean you play in the course of its process. Can you write A level without it disturbing? Yes, it's okay. It's okay. Just that before you travel, you need to have that with you. So that is it. You need to have it with you before you travel, before you should be able to travel. And when you play the DV lottery, and now because people who are playing right now will travel in 2024, you know, you have it in 2023. That is your log, because by the time that you are coming in here they will ask for it and you have to present. By the time that you want to apply for your green card at the US embassy in Yaoundé or whatsoever your country is, they will ask you to for these documents, so you need to present them. Please, can I play as a head with my husband and child, then my husband will play as the head of the house? Yes, I talked about that. Claudette, you can play that is a good way of increasing your winning chances. You play with your husband as the head of the family, you will play as a head, and then your husband will now play as a head. So two of you will submit two applications, and you see include your kids. That is the same. And if both of you win at the same time, it's still okay. There's no problem, there's no penalty. They'll just normally cancel one application and you people travel under one. Wow, that's wonderful. So it encourages some of us to play. Yes, and come on, Lucy. All right. So they say, what if in case of a couple, one person does not have the required advanced level? No, the person that is meeting the requirement is the person who is playing, not you, who the person is in the playing. Like for example, if I want to play with my wife, I have advanced level and my wife does not have. That is no problem. I'm the one playing, not my wife. The person traveling with you does not have to meet any The person does not need to meet any requirements. No, you are the one who is like the principal applicant, because in this case we call you the principal applicant, and you have the person who is traveling with you is the beneficiary. So they are looking at the qualifications of the beneficiaries and not the qualifications of they are looking at qualification of the principal applicant and not the qualification of the beneficiaries. So you can play with your, like you play with your kids. Your kids do not need to have advanced level anyway. They don't need to have any qualification. You just have to know that they should that you are traveling with you that is playing. You need to have that qualification that is needed. What if the processing time you don't have the A level, you can't travel, you cannot go anywhere? Are there higher chances of winning if I played as compared to Cameroon? I've had this question coming up and coming up again, so I'm not answering it. Can you play without a passport? Yes. I think I okay. I did not answer this question, which is very important. Now, last few years when Trump came to power, Trump instituted the passport reason. Normally, they used to play the US DV lottery without a passport. Trump decided to come up with this passport issue because he wanted to stop a lot of people from coming to the US. And if you look very well, you will see that the number that submitted for DV lottery in just about in 2019 was 2 times higher than the number that submitted in 2020 and 2021. This was because of the passport requirement. Because now the court here recently sat, that was about last week, and they said that this DV lottery was meant not for rich people only, it was meant for everybody. But when Trump instituted the passport, it was like only people who come from rich families were playing the DV lottery. A lot of people who did not have the passport could not play, and you finally saw that only people who could meet that need of a passport play. So the court here said that no, they cannot be able to allow only people who have the passport to play and enter the United States. So now they came up with a law, and it says that everybody can play. You don't need a passport to play the DV lottery, but you do need a passport to travel. So if you don't have a passport right now and you want to play, you can go ahead and play. But know that in 2024, when you are traveling, you will need a passport to travel. So when you play and you win, you can normally passport in Cameroon right now is about 1, 2, 3 days thing, and you already have your passport. So even need to bother, you can play the thing and wait. And when you win in 2023, because next year by the special grace of God, I know that most of you watching this live video, you are going to win it. So when when you get the you win your you win your DV lottery, and then you're traveling, you can go ahead and then make your passport and travel. So right now you don't need a passport. All right. So going down to more questions. I'm just seeing questions. We have a mix. Oh God, what's happening? Let me just go straight to the last most questions. Even I don't know. I keep having so many questions that are coming back again. All right. So the question here, let me see, is this a question or a statement? Thank God, they need a passport, or we try to do it later. Yeah, they don't need a passport. You can do your passport anytime of your choice, because this no passport requirement rule is actually to help a lot of people to be able to submit their entries without any problem. And you have to see that. And then someone asks a question that do Muslims play? Yes, of course. Here we don't know something like Muslims or whatsoever. If you're a Cameroonian, right? If you're a Muslim Cameroonian, you play like a Cameroonian. So that's not an issue. You are blessing so many. So God is seeing your work and He will reward you handsomely. Thank you. Amen. And amen to that. And then you said one can play when he or she has acquired 13 years of education. Does it mean playing with O level cannot be possible? No, you are not. You cannot come with O level, because O level is just O level is six. How did they call it? It's about how many years of education? Oh God. I'm on live today. So okay, yeah. So O level, they don't look at it that way. You will not be able, because they will look. Your primary school is 6 years here, and then O level. For you to get Cameroon O level in Cameroon, you have to spend about, is it how many years? It's 5 years, right? So 6 plus 5, that is 11 years. So you cannot be able to travel. So 12 years is in the US, and in Cameroon it should be 13 years, because that is when you could travel. So you cannot come with O level. Your level will not work. If you play with O level right now, you're just exciting yourself. You just want to test it and hear how victory sounds like. But when you win it, we will not be able to get you travel. Um. Okay, please. I don't know if I cannot get back to all the questions. I'm sorry, but you can repost if I've not taken your question. I will be ending this live video very soon. It's already a little bit longer, 1 hour plus. I did not intend to go this far. Can you play in a different country? Okay, now this question, I answered it, but I would like to answer this question again. You cannot play in a different country. You will, like, if you are a Cameroonian, Like you can play from a different country, right? But you cannot play in a different country. Let's get this English straight. Because, like, for example, if you're a Cameroonian and you're a UAE, you can play in UAE as a Cameroonian. If you're a Cameroonian in America, you can play in America as a Cameroonian, but you cannot play in America as an American. You cannot play in Nigeria as a Nigerian when you're a Cameroonian. No, if you play in the form, you need to indicate your country of birth. They will ask for your country of birth, and they will also ask for your country of citizenship. Your country of birth in this case is different from your country of citizenship. Even if you're a Cameroonian and you're nationalized in a different country, you can never play in that country as the person from that country. You will indicate that you are a national in that country, but you are originally birthed in Cameroon. So you will play and include Cameroon as your country of birth. I think say that one clear, Abi. It clear or you not clear? Okay, so let me see if I have some. As I said, I did ask people to repost questions if I've not answered your questions, and the questions are still coming. So many. Okay. CEO, please, can you talk about the difference between first name? Okay, thank you so much for that question. This is very important. I could have gone away from with that, and someone really asked this question for me. Thank you, Free. Now, if I didn't talk about this one, that would be a problem. The first name, last name, and middle name, it is something that causes a lot of problem, right? The US is very strict when they come to your first name, last name, and a lot of people who play this lottery in Cameroon, they usually have a lot of problems with first name, last name, and they may deny you from traveling because when you come, for example, let me look for example, my name is let me just look for what, like, we have Tam Larissa Co, for instance, who is watching, and then if you go and you put your name and you reverse, and then it will come out on your birth certificate or maybe your national ID, your name appears as Tam, and then below you have Larissa Co, and then you go and make a mistake, the day it will come, it will show that your name is Larissa Co Tam. They can say that it is not your name, even though all those names are your names. They will say that they are, and a wicked immigration officer will refuse you from traveling. Yeah, they could complicate you, implicate you for that because you reverse your names, and they'll say no, they are two different people. Now, the last name is usually why did I not bring my ID card here? The last name in most cases is usually the name of your father, which is what they call family name. In most cases, it is family name, and then your first name is your Christian name, and your middle name is the name that they gave you beside your Christian name. Like, for example, if you look at Tam Larissa, for example, in this case, it is very clear that Ko should be your middle name, and then Larissa should be your first name, and Tam should be your family name. That is in most cases because it shows that the name in the middle is the name that the baptism name, and then the last name, the name that actually appears as the last name, is supposed to be a middle name. So on your birth certificate or on your ID card, or on your passport, you will see where it will appear as surname, and then you will see what will appear as prenom. In Cameroon they call it prenom, or prenom is first name now, and then surname is your family name. The one that comes first on your ID card in Cameroon is your family name, which is instead supposed to be your last name. This is the confusion. So, whatever the case, note that the name that appears first on your passport is your last name instead here. That will be your last name. That is what the US takes as your last name. Now, the second name that appears is your first name, not your middle name. And now the last name that appears is instead your middle name. So you have to be very careful about this. So your last name on your passport, your first name on your passport should be your last name when you are playing the DV lottery. And then the name that appears middle on your passport should be your first name instead. And the name that appears last on your passport is your middle name. So this is the arithmetic. That is the reverse. And then I don't want to say that in your last name is your father's name, but I know that 99.9% of people, their last name is usually their father's name. But we still have some few people that the last name might not be your father's name. So I don't want to bring in that confusion. But know that that is how it appears, and then your first name is more in 99% is your middle name, and then your last name 99 your middle name 99% is the name that appears last. on your name. So know that in whatever case there are some exceptions, and this is just 9%. So if your last name, if the name that appears first on your passport is not your father's name or it's not your family name, you should ask questions. I'm very open to help you answer these questions. So if you come to me and you have issues with your last name, you don't know which is your last name and your first name, just snap your ID card, send to me, or you can snap your birth certificate and send to me just the section of the name. I'll be able to help you figure out which one is your first name and last name. So is there an advantage having a degree? Sorry, I'm repeating question. No, there's not, like there's no advantage like having a degree. No, when you come here, however, there may be an advantage, but when you are playing the lottery, you just need to meet the basic requirement. That is all. When you meet the requirement, there is no advantage like someone has master degree, PhD. No, the machine has not been trained to do that. The machine has been trained to look at the basic requirements. So the machine that selects might do that, but not getting you to know if you have a degree or not. Is it true that when you play early, you have higher chances of winning more than playing towards the end? Yes. When you play earlier, it is there are sometimes that they do a selection up to a certain level, and when they have the required number, they will not do the selection again. So if they're selecting 110 and they select up to the 110, they'll not. But I'm not saying that you should go and be hearing that. I just want to play through the first week. And again, during the last day, some people usually wait when they say that it is ending. If you are playing, make sure that you submit your entry in October, because the last week, like in November, there usually a lot of technical problems as well, like on the website. You can have a lot of submission errors, and normally you might feel that they have received your application and you end up having errors. Sometimes there are some people that even do not play, like they went to play and they were having a lot of issues with it. The network is clashing, so you might not play. There may be a crash on the network, on the website. A lot of people are trying to submit during those last days, and you finally have a lot of issues submitting your entry. So don't wait till the last day, October. Make sure that you are submitting your entry if you actually want to be part of this program. Can one play with diploma in sports and physical education? Is it meeting the 12 years requirement? Yes, you will play, because I know that before you do this, you must have met the requirement of, if you have already met the 12 years education requirement here in the US and the 13 years education requirement in Cameroon, you can be able to play. It's not like advanced level is the only document. It is like that is the minimum that you should be able to use and play. Yes, baccalaureate, you can play with it, Karin. Baccalaureate is meeting the 12 years requirement education here, so you can play with that one. Diploma in theology, the question is, Mr. Victor, the question is, have you met the 12 years requirement? If you haven't met the 12 years requirement and you want to play with the diploma in theology and you are married, then if your wife has met that requirement, you have to be under your wife, because if you play it, you might be rejected at the end if you have not met the 12 years requirement. So an age limit for the parents, no age limit, Belinda. There is no, well, it's Brenda, sorry. There's no age limit for the parents. They can, even if they're 200 years, they can play advanced level, and you don't have advanced level. So if it's your son will play normally and put you as the mom, right? That is, your son will only include you as a mother, but you have to understand that you will not travel at the same time with your son. Just the fact that your son has put you in the application is advantageous. So when they finally travel and come in, they can be able to get you file for you, but to come in. But know that you cannot. Your son is having advanced level. The son will play, but you cannot play without it. Repeating on how to. So the live video is still there. Oh yeah, the name for me to pronounce. First of all, I have problem with name. Okay, Miss Parfait. I was looking at. Yeah, so Miss Parfait. The you know that I cannot be able to go back to everything because I don't have enough time. So please know that you can always, the live video will be on the page for you to go back and watch. Thank you so much. So please, I wish to send us the right form for playing this victory. I'll send the link. I will send the link. You can follow. The link will be live tomorrow. Please, I have just probatoire and a certificate as a beautician, so I'm not qualified. Yeah, that does not meet the 12 years requirement, sorry, but 2023 is still very far. You can still play it, and by the time they are traveling, before you're traveling, you can always be able to have, like, if you have a probatoire and you have an extra diploma, I will encourage you to play. This is first of all free of charge playing, and sometimes you might have some considerations, because you have, it shows that this technique, this certificate, if it's recognized, because this is another extra year. So if it's from a recognized institution, you may also be, allowed to travel. So make sure that you are playing, even if you don't have the advanced level, you can play. Please, so you haven't answered my question. I haven't seen your question full, Emanuela. Please, if you can resend the question again, I will appreciate. Please say, when you play early, you have more chances of winning than someone who played at the end. Yeah, I answered that question, Neris. What about some of us who have just two names? Yeah, two names is okay. There is nothing like Jenny Afumbom. You can play with your two names. Even if you have just one name, you play place of last name. If you don't have last name, you don't write anything there. So if you have your one name is just first name or whatsoever, just put the one name that you can put. You must not put three names. It is for those who have. And here the middle name is not even very important. Even if you have the middle name and you don't put it, the law does not even penalize you for that. They are looking at your first and last name. That is what they concentrate mostly on. Yes, Karin, you can play with your two names. So I just have two names. I don't have my father's name. Yeah, if you don't have a father's name, you can play with your two names. So that's okay. That's the same question. What about person who start with the father? What about person whose name starts with the father's name? That is what I was talking about, Gladys. I was saying that most names start with the father's name. Like my name starts with my father's name, but that is the last name here. So when your name starts with your father's name and you want to play, like if your father's name is you, now another you is your last name here. That's why you put as your last name, and then Gladys will be your first name, and Futela will be your middle name. So you should know that your father's name is your last name. Well, issue of name and the order is important. So thanks. So what if you have just two names? Also answer that question and then identify who have been following for this. Very technical. I definitely have been following. Yeah, a lot of people are following for that. And that is why this live video today was very important. And if the live video was very important for you guys, pump up hearts for this live video. Make sure that you share it extensively so that even people, the class is not easy. So that even people who are not able to attend the live show, you share to them. I like a lot of people to get this knowledge, to be able to make it to the end. So share it to people who could not make it. What if you were, but in a vocational school? Yeah, it doesn't matter which school you were in. If that vocational school is meeting the 12 years, if you have met the 12, I've told you guys, you need to have a certificate that shows that you have met the 12 years program eligibility. 12 years, let me be saying 13 years, because 12 years is for the US, not Cameroon anyway. So if you have attended school in Cameroon, how much does the fee require to play? It is free of charge. However, by the time you want to travel, it will cost you about $330 to process your documents. But what you should be concerned about now is submitting your entry, which is completely free of charge. I know that people will charge you for that to play. A lot of people will charge you, but this is something that you can do on your own. You can seek for help, and they will help you without you having to spend any money to submit it, because the government does not take any money for this. Nobody charges you for that. The US government do not ask you to pay. It is absolutely free. So let's see. Please, can one play with the diploma in? Okay, I'll answer this question. So, if you want to play with my daughter, with her information be needed. No, if you want to play with your daughter, they just need basic information about the daughter, like the name and just the name and the age. So they will not need to ask the information. Like, let me tell you the information that you will need. I jotted down all the information here in my phone. Um, let me put the information that you actually need. So now to play, you will need your first, middle, and last name. You will need the complete date of birth. You need the city where you were born. You will need the country where you were born, and then the country of eligibility, which means that the country where you were born can be the country of your eligibility, and it might not still be a country of eligibility. You will need a photo, and then you will need a mailing address. A mailing address, a lot of people are asking that. Say, me for Cameroon, who say I come out with mailing address? That's me for Cameroon. Also, I come on with mailing address. So the mailing address is like, that's why when someone is playing for you from the United States, it's easy to come up with a mailing address. But however, if you are playing for Cameroon, you don't need to bother about the mailing address. So Just put in your information, whatsoever information that you can put as much as possible, and you put your quarter. No be a mailing address for Cameroon. You say the stay na for Fiango Kumba, right? Mailing address. Say who say the stay? What's your mailing address? Say are they for back Santa Lucia for Melen, or are they stay for Corner Amumes and Park? That's our mailing address in Cameroon, and nobody can ever trace you. If the whole world comes to Amumes and Park, they will never see you. Not like in the US where you just give somebody your house number and wherever the person comes straight to your house. So that's what they call mailing address. So if you're in Cameroon, don't bother about mailing address. All right. And then you also include the country that you live. In that application, you include the country that you live today. So if they ask you where were you born, you have to include that. What is your country of eligibility? You include, and then where do you live today? Include the country that you live in. The computer that is selecting is very sensitive when it comes to looking at this information that I'm just telling you. They don't write these things for just for writing sake. The computer will be looking at these things and taking note and know what they're doing. So people who play this thing and they know what they're doing, that is, these are informations that they put in and they're very important. And then you need to put your phone number, put your email address, your phone number, however, is optional. You include your profession, you include your marital status, and then you will talk about number of children that you have. If you have one child, you include, and if you are playing with the children, you also include their passport photos and all that. So what are the requirements? There are no requirements like apart from the what I've told you you need to fill in here. So this is what you need to put in. So let me go to see if we have any other questions here. So if your spouse had has certificate in Nigeria of which that country is not eligible, play can it complicate while processing? Okay, that is a very good question. Good question. Anyway, if your spouse has the certificate in the country is not eligible for the diversity lottery program, not that the country is not eligible for education. If Nigeria is not eligible, for example, and your spouse had the certificate in Nigeria and is a Cameroonian, your spouse will play the lottery. The certificates are recognized. The problem is the country and not the certificates that you have from that country because their education is recognized. So you have that is a very good question. Thank you for that one. Lovely. Which question? If you still have your question, post it. Let me answer before I pack my bags out of here. The others of my names. Rita. Which name should I begin with? Now, Rita, the way your name looks like, it shows that your name has already been organized. This is already the US standard name. Your name is Rita MB Zhang. It's already the order of the name. So you see that Rita is your first name, MB is the middle name, and Zhang should be your father's name, which is the last name. So your name has already been organized. Just make sure that you are not making a mistake to reorganize your names when they have already organized. Maybe your parents already organized them for you. That is what that's what we are looking at doing. Always make sure that you organize the names of your kids in a proper way, put them in a way that because the world is the world is diversified. Your children will not only end in Cameroon. Even if you would always travel, study, or maybe go to different countries, so the names are always a problem. The first time I traveled to the United Arab Emirates, that is Dubai, when I first traveled to Dubai, that is when I started realizing the reality in these name changes. So, like, your name will always be reversed, and I'm like, wow, why are you people turning my name all around? What is the size of the passport photo and the color? The size of the passport photo will be, you will check it. The color should be there should be white background. Now, the size of the but you cannot do it because you are not the one. You cannot be able to snap the passport. So the photographer who is doing that will get you a size that is needed. But if you are taking your phone, just take the passport no matter the size. And when we are putting into the system to play, we reshape it and put it in the required passport size. But now, if you go to play it with go to somewhere where they help you play or take your photos, they already know what they are doing for that. I talked about two names, Jennifer, so I'm sure you got it. Can you play with the grade one certificate? Yes, you can play. That one is already okay. Grade one certificate, because there are some people that have grade one certificate and they don't have advanced level, which means that you had ordinary level and you went ahead and did grade one. Yes, you can play with your grade one certificate because it shows that it is meeting the 13 years the requirement education requirement in Cameroon. It shows that normally you should have advanced level. Interview, if interested to speak in English. I don't think I understand that question, so you can ask it again. So when is the DV lottery starting? It is officially starting tomorrow at 12 noon. That will be 12 noon EST. We call it Eastern Standard Time. No, Eastern Daylight Time. And then it will end on 8 November at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. If you check here under my screen, you see the information passing there. I've put everything there about the starting time, the ending time. So it is just check at the bottom of your screen and then you will see the information that is scrolling through. But what if your name is okay? I already talked about name thing. I'm not going to talk about name again. I just want to get few questions answered. Wow, time. Have you mixed information? Okay, so guys, I think I should be ending this live video here right now. Let's see. Please wish to know if it's possible to play with a junior sister as a family. Yeah, it's your junior sister, right? You can play with your junior sister, of course. It's a family now. But now, when you say play with your junior sister as a family, what do you mean? You will play with your sister. You will just there's somebody that has to play for you guys, like your father or your mom will include you and your junior sister as a family, because you are your sister is not part of your sister is not part of your immediate family, like we call it father, son, and children. So there is a composition which the head of the family should play. So if you are playing with your sister as a family, if someone is playing for you guys, like your father or your mom including you guys in the application. Otherwise, you are playing on your own and your junior sister is playing on your own. I am married without a marriage certificate, but with 3 kids. How can I go about it? So you are not married now because the US government will look at it as if you are not married. You can play with your kids. Um, Playing with your husband, you need to have the marriage certificate, because if you play with your kids, you are okay to play with the kids, but playing with the husband when you are married and you don't have a marriage certificate, that is not recognized. Thanks for the information. You are really helpful. You're welcome, joy and happy people. Thanks so much for enlightening us about this. You're welcome. Please, if you have all levels and you are having a certificate of African, so I've answered the same question. You will play. Yeah, let me just give it in short. I've already talked about when you are able to play. Pray for a sister here in Cameroon. Meanwhile, she lives abroad. Please, can you play for a sister here? Yes, you can play. You just have to indicate the country of where you live, the person lives at the moment. You include where the person is, the country of eligibility, and then that will be fine. I need to know your selection criteria because it's an honor to have you play for anybody. I'm just going to be selecting randomly from the top fans, people who are regular on the page, names that I know every day, people that are always with us, sharing our posts, liking and commenting. Those are people that I'm going to be selecting. So, and if God helps and your name comes in, that's fine. But I'm hoping to take more. You know that where there are some names that we are with them every day. So each time you want to pass your hand, you always select them because they're always like a family. Like I get to see you like my post every day, share my post, comment on my post. You always interact on the post like you're already like just like a family. So, and you know there are some people, those are people that you, it's not that I like all of you and I wish to play for all of you, but I'll do it in the order of preference, and I have to start with the people that are always interacting and sharing our posts. I don't even need to go to your timeline to check whether you're sharing. I know everybody that is sharing my post. I know everybody, like I know all your names, and if they drop your name, you are my follower and you have been with me for some time. If they drop your name on the way, I just pick it. I know you. Like you're just like a family. I know everybody that is interacting on my post. I don't usually go to your timeline to check whether you're sharing or not. I'm very skilled in that particular aspect. So I cannot arrange this name. Zita, I don't even know that I can help you arrange your name now. I'm just wanting to take some few comments and leave here. But I will be talking about name. It looks like a lot of people are having problem with names, so we can talk about that some other day. Four names. You have four names. If you have four names, right? There are two names will be one name. Your last name is usually having mostly two names. So people have four names or first name, like you have names like Joyce Praise. Joyce Praise is a middle name. Joe Praise. These are names mostly by Nigerians. Like those are middle names or first names. I'm sorry. So, yeah, some people you are first name. You will figure out if your first name has two names. Like you have Marie Claire, francophone names. Yeah, so those are names that you now see that your first name has two names, so you can put all the two names. Oh my God, this live show is taking longer than I expected. Come on. Any school student play who just took 2 years today? Okay, so if you are an evening student school and evening school student and you just took 2 years to have your certificate, you can play if you are 18 years and above, because it will show that you have attended 14 years of education. But if you are less than, if you are 15, 16 years, you will not play because they will say that you have not attended that age. But if you are just that, you are like, I've never gone to school, I just attended evening school. This year I had my A level, the following year I had, I mean, this first year I had O level, following year I had A level. You can play. Okay, you can go ahead and play. I'm not taking any name question again. I'm not taking name again. I just want to take the very last questions. What if you just graduated or include as a profession? So what if you just graduated? What you don't need to, you must not have a profession. If you don't have a profession, put yourself applicant. That's fine. Student, that's okay. The profession can be a student, it can be housewife, it can be applicant, but it should not be house husband. Husband is not a profession. We don't suffer. So our own no be profession. I've never seen anything like house husband or house man, but you see housewife now. So when they carry the profession, say housewife is well. If your wife is pregnant at the time you both play, what do you do? Yes, if your wife is pregnant at the time you play, when you deliver, you can travel with the child. That is okay. Even if you play in 2000, like even if your wife is not pregnant, if you play the lottery now and you get pregnant after the lottery, after you have played, you will still travel with your child where you deliver, because the child is at a certain age where you cannot leave the child behind and travel. So if you play and you know you want to make your baby and travel, you go ahead and make your baby. There's no problem. You can even travel when you are pregnant. You can travel with the child. Nobody will separate you from your child. Yes, thank you, Joyce Lee. I just answered that question. The third child, you just travel with that third child. They will allow you to travel with the third child. Is the marriage certificate needed when playing? No, it's not needed. They don't need anything when you are playing. What if you wish to play as a couple but not legally married? No, it will not work. Okay, please, I will end this live show here now. I'm so sorry I'm not able to take all your questions. I will end the live show, and what I'm going to do is just keep dropping your comments. I will be going right to the last question. When I will come back from my other activities, because I actually have a meeting that I need to attend. That meeting is starting in 20 minutes time, and I need to prepare for the meeting too, so I cannot be able to continue with this live show. So all you do is that if you have a very pertinent question that you want me to answer, drop it at the comment section. I'll be looking for the last questions to answer when I finally tune back into Facebook. Thank you so much, guys, for joining this live show today. I really appreciate those who shared and those who are always sharing our works. And please, if you have not liked my page or you have not followed, because there are some of you that we sent invitation. Not everybody that is here has actually followed the page. There are some of you who have not yet followed or who have not yet liked. Just go to my page, click on my name, top right. You will see the follow button, or I don't know, it's top left. You will see follow. If it still says follow, it means that you have not followed the page. Click on it until it turns to following. If you see following, it means that you are following. But if you don't see, if you still see follow, it means that you are not following. It means that you still have to follow. So click on it and follow. And then always make sure that you share this page to your friends, and so that they can be able to also follow the page as well. And then there is another thing that I'm pleading on you guys to do. It there is where they call review. When you look on the page top left, you see review. Click on that review and then you leave a comment about what you like about this page. It's like a recommendation, so you're actually recommending this page. I said it last time and a couple of you went in and recommended, which I do appreciate. So go ahead and then you recommend it. So thank you, guys. God bless you. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I'm going to leave you with a very beautiful song here from this my daughter. I always enjoy playing her song so much, so enjoy this wonderful piece. God bless you. We'll be coming up with more live shows as days go by.
My eyes have seen, my ears have heard of your mighty deeds and powerful show of love towards me. Good shepherd, good lover, I join the angels to shout out your praise. Idima, Idima, Idukwe, Onye nemema, Imama. that you do is marvelous.